Yo, it's your boys. My name's Shawn and Totri. That's Anthony Totri. Welcome to the PHNX Sports Podcast, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, leave a 5-star review. In the words of Bomani Jones, if you leave a 4-star review, I'm inclined to believe that you are a hater. Totri, Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve, man. Happy holiday season.
How you feeling?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. No, I'm doing great, dude. I'm doing great. I can't complain right now. Can't complain.
It's also Festivus, and there will be plenty airing of grievances on today's show. So stick around for that. But before we get into all that, we have to tell you about our inaugural PHNX Tea Party presented by Four Peaks at Dobson Ranch Golf Course. We're renting out the entire driving range. Come hang out with Big Drive Energy, the PHNX crew, and fellow diehards for a night of golf, food, drinks, contests, prizes, and more. Our PHNX Suns crew will be hosting a watch party for the Suns versus Timberwolves. Four Peaks will be out there providing beer samples and swag. You know how I do, how we do, how Four Peaks do. You know the vibes.
You know it's good when you got to take a breath.
Yeah, I literally there's too much stuff. I had to stop. But like I always say, it's not just a driving range. It's got that that little Top Golf swag to it. You can play like actual simulated golf courses. You can do some I almost said Bad Birdie, Angry Birds, all that fun stuff. It's good for people that don't even know how to golf, like your boy.
Just fire away, man. Just fire away. Hey, you almost mentioned Bad Birdie. You could definitely show up to that event in Bad Birdie, guys. Use code PHNX Sports 15 for 15% off your next order at badbirdiegolf.com. We talk about it all the time on the ASU show, but it is the comfiest attire out there, not just for golf. Not just for golf, literally for lounging for anything.
I haven't even worn it for golf yet.
It's going to go crazy.
I can't wait to actually use it for what it's supposed to be used for.
I feel like it's going to elevate my game.
Yeah, no, 100%. Last time we went to Dobson Ranch, I was in like a hoodie and like sweatpants, and wasn't it. I need to get the
Bad Birdie drip
on and get the whole Bad Birdie drip. I'm going to be swinging like Tiger.
I'm here for it.
All right, there's been a few things going on in the Valley recently, so I feel like it is time for a temperature check. Let's do it. There we go. Yeah, look at us. Big old head.
Hey, you're on fire, and I'm cold, baby.
Yeah. For the record, I feel like I need to acknowledge the reason we're doing this. It's Mac's birthday this weekend. She's out of town. With that she's celebrating, so the boys are here. First,
I thought we were the holiday gals.
Yeah, we are the holiday gals. We're the Santa Claus shorties. First, we're the ASU boys. So we have to start in Tempe. Early signing day the other day. ASU 11th class in the Pac 12, so 11 out of 12. But they had one of the best transfer classes in the country. Totri, did you expect better from ASU? Should fans be worried that there wasn't a bigger splash?
No, because it's not over and done with. The recruiting class is far from over. You still got the official signing day in February, and look, this is a coaching staff that had a little over 3 weeks to pull together not only a recruiting class but a transfer portal class as well. And you brought it up; they've got the third best transfer class in the nation right now, which is saying something. And they pulled a lot of guys. They flipped guys that weren't even supposed to be at Arizona State. We talked to them on the ASU show. You flip a guy that was at Utah State. Couple guys that were that verbally committed to TCU, one that had decommitted from Auburn. You're getting guys. Everybody, we're chilling. We're chilling on the ASU recruiting class right now. It's only up from here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, down south, they had the 5th class in the country, but worse transfer class than ASU. But I feel like U of A fans are quick or hypothetically quick to bring up the fact that they had a better transfer class. If you go back to 2021, which I believe was Jed Fish's first year, you know where they ranked in the Pac-12 as far as the recruiting class? Exactly where ASU is right now. So give Kenny a little bit of time. I feel like everything will be okay. And also, when you compare this to where ASU was last year, I would take this 11 times out of 10.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right. On the other side, or from the gridiron to the hardwood, if you will, ASU and U of A basketball. Which one do you want to start with? Which team?
Let's start with Arizona basketball.
All right.
Why don't we?
In case you've missed it, they're pretty good. Pretty good at basketball. 5th-ranked team in the country. But they've had 2 straight games where they've played bad teams and they've let those bad teams hang around. And Tommy Lloyd had some interesting words about his team the other day. I think we have a quote somewhere. He said, quote, "I just feel like our teamness at times can be a little disconnected, and I don't like that. It just doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't mean I'm mad at the guys or anything like that, but there just has to be a feel with how you operate. On a day-to-day basis in the game, that just has to feel better. It's hard to define what it is, but I didn't feel it today." I believe this was after the Montana State win. But regardless, 5th-ranked team in the country, big win over Tennessee a couple nights ago, last week, I believe. Is there any level of concern if you're an Arizona fan? Because obviously their expectations are different than ASU fans.
Yeah.
Their expectation is the national championship. Are there any concerns if you're a U of A fan after having 2 bad teams hang around, which they beat those teams handily? I'm not trying to sit here as an ASU fan and talk bad about them. They beat those teams handily eventually, but they hung around for longer than they probably should have. And then to have your head coach talking about the team like this, is there any level of concern if you're a U of A fan?
Concern in what way? From a national perspective?
Yeah,
of
like your goal is to win a national championship.
Yeah.
Is there any concern?
I think there is. From a national championship perspective or making a deep run, they are definitely a talented team, but we've seen it time and again, not just in basketball, but in a lot of sports. Like, talent can only get you so far, right? There are situations that every team is going to face that you rely on that chemistry, that camaraderie. And if you don't have that down the stretch, then you are certainly going to lose to a team that does have that. And, you know, obviously the national championship, the tournament is still a ways away, but just looking to that ASU game here in a couple days, right? Like, ASU coming off a bad loss, but we know how close this team is. We know how connected this team is.
Yes.
And if there's definitely a team that I don't want to play in the Pac-12 right now, in terms of U of A, it is either Utah again, and it's ASU. ASU coming off that giant loss. Yeah. And look, they know people aren't going to be with them. They're going to be at home. They got that reason to come out firing on all cylinders. So yeah, I would definitely be a little scared if I'm U of A.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think things are going to get bad at any point. Like, and there's still plenty of time for them to kind of figure this out. There's a lot of differences between this team and last year. I'd say they lost their 3 best players last year to the NBA draft, so there's a lot changed. I mean, I definitely I think there needs to be a little worry because, like, at the beginning of this year, I was like, oh, this team might run through everybody.
Yeah.
And they do not seem as untouchable as I thought they might be. So a little concern there, but on the other side, I would rather be them than I would be ASU, especially after what you mentioned. Their, what was it, 37-point loss, or was it 47?
It was 37.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It was bad. Loss to San Francisco, the University of San Francisco. Concern there?
No, not really. We talked about it. It's an uncharacteristic game. Sometimes you just have those games. The throwaway games. Hurley talked about it post-game. You don't even watch it. You just put it behind you. It is what it is. You move on. You get right. You spend too much time focusing on a game like that, and it's just going to get in your head and something that will trickle down, and we'll see again throughout the season if you let it just sit there. But you gotta focus on not only U of A, but the rest of the Pac-12 schedule coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I am almost glad that they lost as bad as they did, as opposed to losing by like 5-10 points, because then there's like a couple bad things you could try and focus on, maybe dwell on. Here, it's like you just got to forget this game even happened. It's certainly concerning, right? I like there is. We've talked about it a lot on the Sun Devil Show, which we're going to be live at 2. Tap in, but we've talked about a lot concerns with their offense and them not showing up, but this game was more than just that. Their defense, which is one of the best in the country, disappeared. They were missing their best shot creator in Des Cambridge. I just think this is a game you kind of have to throw away and ignore. But both of these teams' next games will be New Year's Eve against each other. How do you think that is going to go? Charles in the chat saying, I hope ASU comes out with a vengeance. Going to have a long time to stew on that huge loss. Tucson coming up to I-10 for the big game. What do you expect?
I expect ASU to start fast.
Yeah.
You have to. If they start fast, I don't see this as a game that they lose, because we've seen what happens when ASU is able to come out and shoot fast. Yeah. They had that taste of that AP Top 25, and we know damn well after that big loss that they're going to lose it.
Yep.
The only way that you stay in the AP Top 25 or get back in is you beat U of A at home. Yeah. So you got to come out firing.
Yeah, I mean, the fast start, I think, is the key there. If they do what they've done at times this year, where they start slow and then they have to kind of bring it back in the second half, like the Colorado game, they lose this game easily.
You can't keep it close either.
Arizona is far too good is far too good to kind of try to toy with, I guess.
Yeah.
You have to come out banging. I think that this is going to be a close game. I ultimately think Arizona wins. I do think they're a better team, and I struggle to think that they are going to be able to handle a guy the size of Umar Ballo. And if Kerr is hot from 3, it's going to be a problem for ASU.
I think it's going to be a close game in the first half. Whoever comes out in the second half, I don't think it's close at the end. I think whoever wins by at least 10.
That's fair. I mean, look at Arizona's games the last 2 games. It's exactly how it's been. They've been close in the half, and then they run away with it in the second half. So it will be interesting. New Year's Eve, check it out. Get there if you want. It's going to be a good game, I think. Moving on to the Arizona Coyotes. They're bad, which is not good. Not because they're not good. It is bad because they're not as bad as they should be. They're currently 29th in the NHL standings, 7 points above last place Chicago, which is not what people expected. They were expected to be the worst team in hockey, and they've been a little bit better than that so far. If you're a fan of a team like the Arizona Coyotes, who is tanking, you had to go through last year, which was very, very bad. And the expectation this year was you were going to be very, very bad again, but it was going to be worth it because you were going to have a franchise-changing player. If you're a fan of a team in that situation, are you upset that you've had to suffer and now it might not be worth anything? Or are you happy that they're showing some signs of life?
It's such a tough line to walk because the players don't want to lose.
No,
the players, they don't give a shit who is coming
and
to
Arizona
town.
is a tough team. They're a big team, physical team. They're a very tough team to beat.
If you're a player, you don't want to lose.
Yep.
You want to go out, you want to win. Like I said, you don't care about the next draft pick. You're worried about getting paid and your spot on that roster. Now, if you're a fan, yes. If I'm a fan, I'm upset because all we've heard is, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
We got a generational type talent waiting for us on the other end of the season. All you got to do is lose some games.
Yeah, and it's not even, you don't even necessarily have to finish last because Connor Bedard is the prize. Adam Fantilli is a pretty good consolation prize. He's also a franchise-changing player.
Yeah.
So even if you finish bottom 2, even the third prospect, I'm forgetting his name, but he's pretty good too. The Coyotes, if they were to fall exactly where they are in the draft right now, they would finish outside of the top 3. And I don't think if you're a Coyotes fan, when you come into this season with the expectation, like it's one thing for the Cardinals, we'll talk about in a little bit, but it's one thing for the Cardinals where it's tougher for those fans to reconcile trying to play for a good draft pick now because you came into this season with the expectation that you would at the very least be a playoff team, hopes of playing a Super Bowl in your home stadium, and now it's gone very, very poorly. Yeah. And at that point, it's harder to get a fan to kind of change their mind. The Coyotes, that's not the situation. They've, for a couple of years now, this has been what this is. They knew that they were going to lose for a little bit to try and win. And now they're not doing they're not winning enough for it to be good, and they're not losing enough for it to be good, I guess. So, like, it's tough. I would be a little upset. But the thing about them is not red alarms, not anything yet. Trade deadline's still got to come. They will get worse. They'll lose more games. But just an interesting thing to look at. Now it is time for the team that no one is happy with. The Arizona Cardinals.
Bum, 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 bum.
It's all bad. Very, very bad. Trace McSorley is starting.
The GOAT. He's the GOAT.
There was a report from ESPN today that basically said that the Cliff Kingsbury tenure has been a train wreck.
Yeah, but we knew this.
Yeah, we did most certainly know this. To pull some of the quotes, this is not sustainable. Changes need to be made. Quote, maybe Cliff will just resign. Quote, tired of the BS. Where are you at with this franchise, Totri?
This franchise?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. This franchise is on fire. And it's been on fire.
Yep.
I've said it for the last probably 8 years now that Steve Keim is not and should not be a general manager in the NFL.
I agree with you.
The Arizona Cardinals could not and would not be a strong playoff team with the rosters that he's built. And it shows. Yep. Over years, it has absolutely shown time and again that Steve Keim is not the answer, and evidently Cliff Kingsbury isn't the guy either. Like, and I don't see a situation where you go one or the other. Like, you have to burn it all down. Yeah, you have to start from scratch now.
Yep, I think at this point it's either you change the front office or you change the quarterback, and you're not changing the quarterback because Kyler is better at his job than Cliff or Keim are at theirs. What do you think is going to happen? This time,
Oh, no.
well, I don't say this time next year, but the start of next year, Kyler will be back at some point. What do you do if you're Michael Bidwell?
If I'm Michael Bidwell and I can make any of my decisions that I want, okay. I am getting rid of Keim.
Yep.
I am getting rid of Cliff.
Yep.
I am giving Sean Payton a blank check.
Yep.
I'm telling him, just write a number. You've got it. And if Payton wants Kyler in-house, then he's got him in-house. If he doesn't, then I am finding somebody to take that contract, whether it is the Ravens, who have yet to sign their quarterback, the Jets. If you watch Thursday Night Football, you know they need a quarterback.
Well,
at this point,
might be the answer.
You try and you just try and deal him if Payton doesn't want him. And, you've got that 5th overall pick right now, or top 5 pick. Go get a quarterback. Go get your future right there. But that's how you start over. You have to start over.
Now, Cardinals fans might not want to hear this. Do you have any interest in not with that first round pick? I think that would be ridiculous. But at some point in the draft, taking a flyer on a quarterback at some point, not necessarily to replace Kyler, but you look at where they're at now with McSorley starting, who is clearly, I don't think, even a viable backup. Colt McCoy always injured. Don't know what the future holds with him in this franchise. And then obviously Kyler is not going to be healthy at the beginning of the year, presumably. Do you take a quarterback at some point in the draft?
I think it depends on where the meter's going in terms of free agency, if you feel guys out like that, because you never really know how that'll go. And from my estimation, it looks like Kyler has a little bit of a temper when it comes to not being the spoiled child. At quarterback.
Yeah, and drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, that would not sit well with him. But I really don't know. I don't think outside of the first round guys that you're getting right now, right? Like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson's name's been tossed in there. I saw him go to the Seahawks in a mock draft this morning in the first round, and I was like, wait, what? What are we doing? He's going the first round still?
Yeah, he's a first round quarterback.
But outside of those 4, I think there's a significant drop off. I think we just got done talking about the Coyotes and the tank, right? I am sold on Caleb Williams next year. Sold on him as the future of an NFL franchise. He is the next guy that you add to the conversation of the Josh Allens, the Herberts, the Mahomes, the Tuas, in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? So if Sean Payton feels that way, if whoever you bring in as the GM feels that way, you do whatever you got to do to ensure that you have a chance at Caleb Williams next year.
Yeah, I am with you on that. Plus, you'll have another year to really know what you're getting out of Kyler Murray, and you'll get to see what he is after the injury. But it's not all bad if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan. Budda Baker's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
So congrats to Budda. That's cool, I guess, if you care about the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl sucks.
Hey, but I'm excited this year. It's going to be different. They're going to do the skills challenges. We'll finally get an answer. We'll finally, hopefully, well, not hopefully.
The Dolphins will not be.
Well, no, because the thing is if the Bills or the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, we won't get what I am most excited for, which is finally getting to see who can throw a football farther, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen.
I think it's Josh Allen, man.
I think it's Josh Allen.
I don't even need to see the skills competition.
But one of those two quarterbacks, I would assume, are going to be in the Super Bowl, so we probably won't get to see it. Anyways, but Cardinals play on Christmas now against Father Time, Uncle Tom Brady, and
Uncle Tom.
Well,
yeah, calling him?
Yeah. Well, no, probably not. Father Time though. I'll do with that. Stick with that. But Christmas Day, on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I believe there are 7-point underdogs. Let me pull that up real quick. They are currently 7.5-point underdogs on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. What are you doing with that?
Oh God, do I have to bet on this game? I don't want to bet on this game. If I did, I would take the Bucks. Absolutely take the Bucks. I can't fathom spending any amount of money on Trace McSorley.
Or if you don't want to bet on the line, what about the over/under at 40.5?
I take the under.
I feel like this is going to be an ugly game. But
field goals.
Yeah. You can take kicker props on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. But however you're going to bet on this game, obviously, do it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you're going to bet on this, or there's some Christmas Day basketball as well. Suns play, I believe. Do it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the app now. Sign up with code PHNX. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $100. Oh, I completely forgot about the Suns. I skipped right over them. We'll get to them in a second. That's code PHNX. only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. The Phoenix Suns, 4-6 in the last 10, 5-9 on the road. Currently 4th in the Western Conference, I believe. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of concern with the Phoenix Suns?
10 being really concerned?
Yes, 10, burn it all to the ground. 1 being they're going to win the NBA Finals.
Oh, man, that is a large discrepancy.
Yeah, we could do 1 to 100 if you want.
Give me a 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because without Devin Booker, this team has problems.
He's not dead. Like
no. He's not dead. He's not dead. But without Devin Booker, this team is in shambles. Clearly, this team has no star power outside of Devin Booker.
No, I mean,
Chris Paul is not him. DA is a big baby. We've done this dance, the delicate dance, for a long time now. The only one outside of those guys on the team that I'm like, okay, like I can confidently expect 15 and 5 from you a night is probably Mikal, and even then he has trouble scoring at times. Landry Shamet dropped 30 the other night, and I'm pretty sure they still lost.
They did.
Like, that's tough. That is absolutely tough. And we haven't even talked about the trade deadline that's coming up here in a few months. Like, if you don't make a trade, if you do not make a deal to get rid of Jay Crowder, burn it down.
Yeah, I mean, Jose says in the chat, no concern at all. Suns still have a trade coming. Charles says 8.5. I'm not that high. I think the NBA, especially the West, there's so much parity that, like, if you make the playoffs, you kind of have a chance to reach the finals. I'm kind of like a 5, I would say, as Max also throws up a 5 behind the Mac. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of concern, right? This team does not look like a team that is going to win an NBA Finals at this moment. But again, as Jose says, the roster's incomplete. You mentioned the Jay Crowder trade. Now, if they do not get rid of Jay Crowder, like you said, the concern will get much higher. Because I do think that is one of the things I've been looking for with this team is there's going to be a change to this roster. They're going to get another guard, maybe.
We've been saying that, though. We've been saying that since 100%. The offseason.
But there's still time. There's still time for it.
There is.
Once the trade deadline comes, then there's no return.
There
at
is.
that point. So I'm at like a 5. I don't think I don't think the regular season matters that much. Like I said, if you make the playoffs, I think you have a chance. I think the fact that they keep losing to the same teams, like they keep having problems with the Mavs. Their games against the Pelicans are always interesting.
They've lost to the Wizards. They've lost to the Rockets.
Yeah,
Those are bad teams.
They've had some bad losses, and like you mentioned, Devin Booker has missed a couple of games. Haven't looked great in those games.
When he plays, they're great. Yeah. When he plays, this guy goes for 40 a night, and it's phenomenal.
There's definitely a level of concern, but I don't think it is all like, I don't think it's a burn it to the ground point. I think they're going to make the playoffs still.
Even if they don't make a trade.
Ooh, I still think they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, they'll be a playoff team. So
for that reason, I'm not at like a 10. I don't think it's a burn it to the ground. I do think it is a must. Like I do think your season's over at that point.
If they don't make a trade, they get bounced in the first round.
It depends on who they play, but probably. I would probably.
Right now, let's go through it real quick.
Right now they play the Clippers.
A healthy Clippers team.
A healthy Clippers team. Healthy Clippers team might beat anybody.
Healthy Clippers team, I take Clippers in 6.
I might take Clippers on 5, to be honest with you. But a healthy Clippers team is a big
who they beat?
Is a big if.
They're not going to beat the Warriors in 7.
I mean, the Warriors are not even a playoff.
No, but you know they'll sneak in. You know
the Warriors can't win on the road. Don't even. They do it every.
They're not. They would not beat the Warriors.
3 games on the road.
They would not beat the Warriors in 7.
The Warriors are a game out of a play-in spot right now. They're currently 11th in the conference. The Warriors are another team though. They were in this spot last year. So if they make the playoffs somehow, they'll still.
And they do not lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're not beating the Grizzlies in 7. They're not beating the Mavs in 7. They're not beating the Pelicans in 7. Like, who are they beating? If you don't make a trade, you're getting bounced in the first round.
That's probably true. So definitely a little level of concern. As far as the Monty DA stuff, where are you at on that? Another little dust up. They both played it off as they continue to do. Are you concerned? Do you think the public is making too much of a big deal out of it?
I mean, things get heated. You're obviously playing sports out there, and this is at the highest level. So, yes, I can understand it getting heated. It's not a great look that it's Monty and the same guy doing this again.
But it's also like the only guy right now. Like,
Mikal just owned up to this today. We have quotes on our YouTube that are going up relatively soon, if not already now. Mikal admitted today that it was
he apologized, right?
Yeah, he apologized, and he said it was on him. He called DA soft during a free throw, and it caused an issue.
He is soft.
So it looked like But he called him soft when he had 30 and 13, and Mikal had 10.
That's tough time to do that. Yeah, Mikal has not really been has not been good enough this year. I feel like for him to take
Call
a shot at
people
the best player on the court at that point.
So Monty was more so yelling at both of them for being
children,
because there's a game to
childish on the court, right? Yeah. Like they had a game to go win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so then is there any concern about that? About your two best players when Devin Booker's not healthy?
No. I still don't think DA belongs on this roster. I think he needs to get dealt too because I just don't see it as a nice fit. But that's just me. Everybody has their own opinion on DA and his career and whatever. I think he can thrive. I just don't think he can thrive here.
I think it's reconcilable. I just think this team maybe has overachieved a little bit the last 2 years, and now the expectations are higher, and then the management has not really put them in a position. But other side, kind of like the Cardinals, there is something good. They have a new owner. See ya, Sarver. So that's good. Interesting to see how that goes.
See ya, Sarver. That needs to be like
see ya.
That needs to be a flavor of OGs.
A flavor of OGs.
A flavor of OGs.
The see ya, Sarver OGs.
Yeah, it just takes you to the moon. That would be amazing.
Go. I don't know if I want. I don't know if I want to be thinking of Sarver when I'm about to eat something, but
well, you don't gotta be thinking about it. It's just a name.
I think we should just stick to OG's current flavors.
Okay. Well, go check them out. They got that orange creamsicle flavor that goes crazy. They obviously got the sleep gummies as well. You guys can go for the full ones that got, I believe, 10 milligrams, and then the microdose have 3. And if the big one's a little too much for you, you could do what we did when we saw Avatar. You could just go 3 microdose, and then you're right below what a big one would be. Guys, you can check them out just about anywhere at your local dispensary, and you do got to be 21 or older to enjoy.
Yes. Okay. Now the moment that a lot of you probably been waiting for. We had asked some of you to send us some questions. So now it is time to get down in the DMs. Boom. All right. So we have, I think, about 7 questions from some of the ones that were asked of us. And I'm just gonna let producer Jacob just kind of throw whatever one he wants up, and we'll go from there. What's the first question we got? First, from Owen. Now that the 2022 edition is concluded, did Arizona make a mistake pulling out of contention to host World Cup games in 2026? Before we get to this, I do want to touch on Rising real quick. Didn't mention them in the temperature check, but they have been making some moves. Santi Moore and Greg Hurst moved to their biggest rival, New Mexico United, in exchange for some international signing slots. They also have a new stadium, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. But I still think there's a lot more they have to do in this offseason to improve the roster to get back to what they were not last year, but the years before that, when they were one of the best teams, if not the best team in the USL. But what are your thoughts? We watched a lot of the World Cup. It seemed like an amazing experience. Obviously, a pretty interesting dynamic with it being in Qatar. Mm-hmm. Do you think Arizona missed out by not trying to host a game in the World Cup?
No.
Really?
Not necessarily, man. Like, I just think there are other cities that can fulfill the needs that maybe Arizona can a little more. I would love it for, like, my own personal, like, being able to go to one of those games in 2026. But at the end of the day, I think there are certainly other places that could probably do a better job.
Interesting. I'm on the other side of that. I think they definitely missed out. I think you saw the kind of environment that it brings, and it brings a lot of eyes to wherever it is. And then specifically in a location in Glendale, they're opening up that huge resort right across from the State Farm. Like there's a lot going on in that kind of little area. I think it would have been a great spot for a World Cup match. And I also think it gives a little more exposure to soccer in Arizona. Obviously, no MLS team here, so I don't think a lot of people outside of the state really know kind of the soccer culture that is in State 48. I definitely think it was a missed opportunity. But I'm definitely the kind of person that is like, I love things. Like, I love big events.
I love things.
I love things going on. So like if you have a chance, like I want a Super Bowl in Buffalo, even though there should never be a Super Bowl in Buffalo because the weather's shitty and it would be terrible. But I just want to be around things going on.
See, I like that, but I'm also the kind of guy that I can't control myself when, like, I don't want, like, when the Super Bowl's here, for example, right? If my team's in the Super Bowl, I don't want to go watch it. I do not want to go in person and watch it because I'm a psycho. I'm an absolute psycho when it comes to that shit. Like, if my team is in a big game, I need to be locked in somewhere in a room, in just an environment where, like, I can control everything.
I mean, if I'm at home watching the Super Bowl, I cannot, and my team's in the Super Bowl, I cannot be around none of these, like, casuals. Like, I can't be around people.
No, I'll be yelling at the TV
for the Super Bowl. But I would 100% go to the Super Bowl.
But same thing with the World Cup. Like,
but that's the thing. Like, especially the World Cup, the environment. That's the thing that I really want. I want like Diehards. I want Diehards. I want just Arizonans to be able to experience an environment like that you will never anywhere experience the environment of a World Cup game. And to have that here would have been awesome, but we won't.
You tell me you don't get that at DFA, man?
I mean, it's close.
You don't get a World Cup environment at DFA?
It's damn near, but it's can't replicate the exact thing. So I definitely think it's a little missed opportunity, but there's plenty of other spots around North America for you to go see a World Cup match. So hopefully you can get out to one. I'm definitely going to try and go somewhere. I know they're playing in LA. Maybe I'll try and get out there. What do we have next, Jacob? Two-parter from Chris. First, would the Cardinals be better at baseball or the D-backs better at football? This is the right answer here. It's the D-backs better at football because hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports.
But Kyler Murray was literally a top
That's all
5.
you have.
That's all you have.
That's all you've got.
But I guess Jake McCarthy was phenomenal in Pennsylvania as a football player.
And so was Alec Thomas. He was a football player. Yeah, he was a football player too. So
and you could scheme them to be decent football players.
First off, neither of them would be good. They would both never win a game. It wouldn't even matter. But I do think hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports, and I think there's plenty of good athletes on football on the D-backs where they could look like they kind of know what they're doing, maybe sort of. I think the best athletes in any sport would look foolish trying to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah,
they would
most
look
definitely
foolish. So I don't think they would even stand a chance.
Oh yeah, the Cardinals as a baseball team would lose every game.
Yeah, you would have one guy like Kyler. But even that, wouldn't be a professional level baseball player. Like he would still would have had to grind in the minor leagues. So it's not like he's going to just show up and be able to hit anybody. But the second part of that question, which athletes of any of the sports are the biggest divas?
Ooh.
Soccer and the major four.
The
hockey,
biggest
football, basketball.
Divas. Oh,
That's
man.
a tough one.
That is a really tough question because each sport has their own.
They're divas in different ways. Like baseball players are low-key divas because you just stare at a pitcher for too long and then they're going to throw a baseball at your head. Like that is.
Can we agree hockey players are the least diva?
I would agree 100%. They are the most low-key, with the exception of Jacob Chikrin, massive diva. But they're the most low-key. They're very much, it's all about the other guy. So I would put them at the bottom of the list.
Give me basketball players. I feel like any time that you have multiple athletes that play the same sport involved with the Kardashian family, you're considered a diva. Like, and unfortunately, that just kind of trickles down for the rest of the league. Like, I know there are a lot of NBA players that aren't divas.
Yeah. It's also tough because basketball is the one sport that more than any other sport puts their personalities out there. So they have a higher chance to be a diva. You're probably right. Football is tough because I feel like the position groups are so different.
Yeah.
Offensive skill players, massive divas.
DBs, divas.
Oh, DBs are the biggest divas in any sport, I think. But like linemen, they don't get any flowers and they're low key. Like, so it kind of depends. And then soccer, like
people want to call
soccer, yes.
People want to call soccer players divas. And specifically because the flops and the falling and all that shit.
You and I are on the same page about
If
this.
you have never played soccer in your entire life, I would encourage you to just go run out there for 45 minutes.
45 minutes, yep.
Don't stop. And any time that somebody slightly kicks you, for you to not take the opportunity to lay down and catch your goddamn breath.
Yes.
I would highly encourage you to give it a shot. And then we can have the conversation about soccer players being the biggest divas.
Yeah, I do think there are obviously other outside of that moments where they're divas interacting with refs, interacting with each other. But yeah, I do think that they are misconveyed.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they rise to the highest. I'll put hockey at the bottom. Football because of the defensive backs at the top.
Really?
Yeah, just because of the defensive backs. They are the biggest divas in sports. Next question, Jake.
Speaking of basketball divas, just want to throw this little breaking news nugget out there. Boy. Anthony Davis out indefinitely with a stress injury in his foot.
Street clothes.
He can never stay healthy.
He's not a diva, though. He's just a tall man who has weak bones. He always is hurt. There's plenty
Anybody
of divas.
associated with LA.
A tall man with weak bones.
Anybody associated with LA is a diva.
I'll take that. What do we got next?
Justin Herbert's not a diva.
No, he's not. Who do you think is the best and worst Christmas tree in The Office?
Are we talking like
hypothetically, who do you think puts together the best Christmas tree?
The best Christmas tree, Craig.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah.
Easy. I think Craig, it's not even close.
Craig, the only person's Christmas tree that I've seen, I think, is Leah's because she has it in the background of her at-home setup. And people were shitting on her Christmas tree in the Coyotes chat. It looked like a nice Christmas tree. There's stuff going on. Like, I can't put together a Christmas tree. I would say that Shane would have the worst Christmas tree, but
wow.
I also love his parents too much, and the way that Paula goes hard on Halloween, I feel like she also goes hard.
She went hard for the Christmas party too.
I wasn't there.
Oh damn, that's tragic. She went hard for the Christmas party though.
Was the Christmas tree nice?
I'll be honest, I didn't look. I was too busy with the food.
I feel like they put together a good Christmas tree. But the Morgans, Craig's bougie ass, like I feel like he puts together a real nice Christmas tree.
100%.
I feel like so
I want to have Christmas with Craig.
Yeah, so do I. I want to have Christmas specifically with Craig's wife's cooking. If they want to be there, that's cool. But if the food's there, that's all I really need.
Let's have Christmas at Craig's house, just you and me, with all of Craig's wife's food.
Yeah,
and we can open their gifts for them.
Yes. Yeah, and then we'll leave before sunrise.
Yes, beautiful. So we're just breaking and entering?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Are you like a classy, like white lights, kind of like tinsel Christmas tree, or are you like a colorful lights, fun ornaments kind of Christmas tree?
You know, I've evolved.
Okay.
I've evolved into the white lights.
Yeah, so have I.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just so much more classy.
It fits a vibe,
it's
bro.
So nice. And I love nice, warm lighting, like warm Christmas lights. It's nice.
Yeah, my wife converted me to that.
If
I
you
used
like
to
the
be
colorful,
like the mismatched ornaments,
yeah, I was
whatever
the same
you
way,
could
and
put
that's
on the tree.
fun.
And
that's
like
fun when
now
you have
it's like
kids.
Coordination.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're gonna go back. You're gonna go back because you're gonna get your kids like fun ornaments and stuff.
Yep.
That part is fun. Decorating the tree. Like
yes,
I got
you are.
ornament
I will
every
make
year.
you.
I loved that. But once you turn 18, just class it up a little bit.
Yeah,
class it up a little bit. All right. Next question.
Oh wait, we didn't say who had the worst.
I said oh yeah, because I would have said Shane if it wasn't first.
I think Jesse has the worst Christmas tree. I think it's just baseballs on a tree. That's all it is. It may be chicken tenders.
That sounds like a terrific Christmas tree.
Baseballs and chicken tenders? Yeah, but not visually.
I feel like low-key, and I'm only saying this because I know she's in earshot, Emma probably has a terrible Christmas tree.
Oh,
she
man.
gives me Charlie Brown Christmas tree vibes. I don't know if she can hear me.
I don't know if she can either.
I feel like she just kind of just like, fuck it. Emma is my answer. I don't know if she's hearing me, but I'll tell her to her face after the show.
Emma, you got the worst Christmas tree.
Next question, Jacob. I'll explain it to you after. Excluding the Suns, which AZ sports team is most likely to win a championship first, and how long will it take? So it's interesting because I said this before the season started, and I have been consistent that I don't think the Suns are going to be the next one. I think the Coyotes or the D-backs, specifically the D-backs at this point, are the next team to win a championship. Give it.
A championship? There's a Pac-12 championship?
No, because the Arizona, obviously. Yeah, I would say about 4 or 5. Jacob's throwing up 3-4. I'd say about 4 or 5 years of the D-backs. I think they are on the trajectory of the best team in the Valley.
I think you're wrong.
Ooh.
I think it's the Arizona Wildcats.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, if we're being realistic,
that's technically an Arizona sports team.
I was more focused on the pro teams, but yeah, I think the problem with Arizona though is it's so hard to win a national championship in basketball.
But they're closer than anybody else right now.
I do agree. I do agree that they're obviously the best program of any of the sports in the Valley or in Arizona.
Give me the Rattlers.
Well, yeah, if we're getting in it, then the Mercury. Yeah. I mean, they're getting BG back. I think
they're going to be on a revenge tour.
A revenge tour against it is quite literally Mercury versus the world. And I mean, they're historically the best team in the Valley. So I think they are probably the right answer. But outside of that, I think it's the D-backs, man. They get better. They're getting better. They overperformed last year. They gave you a reason to be excited, and they're only getting better. I think Mike Hazen is doing a good job. I believe in them. I don't think the Suns are winning the finals this year, and if they don't do it this year, I don't think their window is open much longer.
I'd run through a wall for Torey Lovello.
Yeah, so would I. Absolutely.
Like I think I'd run through multiple walls.
Yeah. No, he's probably my favorite coach manager in the Valley outside of Kenny Dillingham.
Bobby?
I don't know. I really like Torey.
Torey's great.
I really like Torey. Like Torey. Bobby's up there for sure, but
I'll switch my answer to Torey when he wants to come on the ASU show.
Fair. Yeah.
Until then, Bobby's
been on the ASU show. Torey is not. Sad but true. So your answer is outside of the Wildcats. Who's your answer? Go to the 4 major, like the professional sports, men's sports. Take the Mercury and the D-backs or the Wildcats out of it because they're on a different tier. They're way better than everybody else.
As the rosters are now.
Yeah, just on their current projection, like where over the next couple of years, who is it? How long do you think it'll take? My answer is D-backs. Give it 4 or 5 years.
I'm gonna say, this is so hard. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I know they need to burn it down, but I think in terms of all of the sports, it may be the easiest championship to win simply because of the games. I think right now the NFC West is still up for grabs. The quarterback situation as it is right now for the Niners isn't as great as everybody's making it out to be. The NFC as a whole, I think, is wide open, and you have a top 5 pick. You never know. Yeah. Go get yourself a generational type player. We saw how quickly things can change for the Jags, who now control their destiny for the playoffs. Cardinals couldn't be. They were in the playoffs last year, so
and the roster is not a championship winning roster right now, but it's not terrible.
Things happen, man. In free agency
on the roster, they still have a top 3 receiver in football. They have the best hands of any receiver I've ever watched play football in DeAndre Hopkins. They have. I say what you want about Kyler. I'm not sure that he's a championship winning quarterback, but he's a dynamic quarterback. He's got talent. And I think if you put a good enough roster around him, he definitely can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Things happen in the NFL. The Rams won the Super Bowl last year, and they're eliminated from the playoffs now.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Things happen, and things happen fast. And you mentioned the draft pick. I think there is a possibility there. So I do think they're probably second. I would have said the Coyotes second, but they're kind of fucking up the tank right now. I'm not really sure. But I think D-backs are next. Next question, Jacob. What would you gift each AZ sports team for Christmas this year? We're
going the 4 major ones?
The 4 major ones, not because we don't want to go too long. Start with the Cardinals. Where are you going?
A new coach. That's the easy answer. Yeah. Whether it's Sean Payton or just somebody else. People at this point do not like Cliff Kingsbury. I'm convinced Cliff doesn't like Cliff. So give him a new coach for Christmas.
Yeah. Just on the other side of that is a GM. I mean, you got to blow it all up. And to something less serious, I've said this before. I know Johnny's been on this horse. New uniforms.
Yes.
Give the fans something to be excited about, especially if you clean house. Do it head to toe. Do a little bit of a rebrand. Not necessarily rebrand, but a little like redesign of the jerseys and just change the aesthetic a little bit. Get rid of your head coach. Get rid of your coordinator or your GM, and just start it all over. Start clean look. So my Christmas gift to the Cardinals is a new set of uniforms. Suns.
For the Suns, I am sneaking in the James Jones household through their chimney, and I'm delivering a handful of extra first-round picks. So you have some more assets to go make a trade before the deadline.
Yeah, I am giving them just an answer on Jay Crowder. Like just a trade package.
Yeah.
Get rid of him so you can move on and you know what this team is. Well, I guess ultimately like another guard, another scorer maybe. Just a little bit of depth in the backcourt, I guess. But they have to do something out to with the Jay Crowder situation that we talked about earlier. So figuring that out is my Christmas gift to them. The Arizona Coyotes.
Ooh.
It's a tough one. There's a lot they could use.
I don't want to do the easy answer of the first overall pick. But I will say a time machine so that they can fast forward to the end of the season.
Oh, I thought you were going to go to the new arena.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways you could go with this.
That would have been a good one.
I could have gifted them the votes on the referendum in March, I believe, on the new arena. That would be very nice. They could start working on that. But I know you said it's the easy one. I'm going to give it to them. The first overall draft pick. They haven't had it in their franchise history. They so very need it, and they need some luck. No, that's not even. They just draft lottery luck because at this point they're probably going to need it. They're probably not going to have the best odds. They're going to need a little luck to try and get into that top 3. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with them. Next, D-backs.
A new owner.
Yeah, Charles stole my answer, and so did Jacob. Give them a new owner who wants to spend some money. I mean, it's tough when there's a guy that you couldn't pay. Well, probably wouldn't have re-signed anyways, but Paul Goldschmidt winning the MVP. Now, fucking JD Martinez has made a bunch of money recently. Jacob's sad behind the mat because I brought up Paul Goldschmidt. But yeah, an owner. Baseball is a sport, especially in a division with the Padres, Giants, and Dodgers, who spend more money than exists on the planet on players for no real reason. Well, not for no
Giants
reason.
Haven't really spent. I mean, I guess.
Well, they tried to. They were going to, in theory. They were going to spend a bunch of money on Judge and Correa.
I saw a really funny TikTok about the Giants, actually. It was like every false report that's taken place over the last 4 years had to do with the Giants. Bryce Harper to the Giants, Carlos Correa to the Giants, Aaron Judge to the Giants.
So sad.
Everything related to the Giants.
Time to be the Giants. But good thing this isn't SF I don't know. What would the abbreviation for San Francisco be? FRN? Just Fran? I don't know. Good thing we aren't covering San Francisco. We care about the D-backs here.
SF Bay? I don't know. I'm giving them division realignment. Let's blow it up.
Get out of the NL West.
100%. Let's shuffle it around. I love that. See what we can do.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think they're closing the gap a little bit. The Padres have gotten better, but the Giants haven't gotten a lot better, and I think their window's closing slowly. It's open still, but it's slowly closing. The Giants are not that going to be good, I don't think. I think the D-backs are going to finish in the division. That's just where I'm at. But to get to where to be able to compete in this division, you're going to have to spend money. So that's why owner. Yeah. My gift. Have we hit all four? Hit all four there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Next question. Do we have more? I don't know how many we've done. Probably should keep track of it. Any New Year's resolutions you feel the AZ sports team should have going into 2023?
This is your last one.
Coyotes, lose games. Lose games would be my resolution for you. Suns, win games.
Win games you should win.
D-backs, win games. Cardinals, win games. At home.
Okay.
Win home games.
I'm going Coyotes, I'm going to go the same. Lose games.
Just lose. Just lose, baby.
For the Suns, I said it. Win games that you should win. For the Cardinals, listen to the fans. And who am I missing? D-backs. D-backs. Oh, man. This is tough.
Spend money.
Spend money, yeah. Do something. It's like the stick meme. Do something.
Do something. Literally anything. You know what I'm going to do, though? I'm going to enjoy some pizza. Not just any pizza. Pizza from the only, Mountain Mike's. Shout out to them for supporting us and bringing us some pizza. It is my favorite part of Mondays. Twice. They bring us pizza twice a month. And it's so good.
There's so much. The wings go
crazy.
The wings go crazy.
Salad. They got a little bit of things for everybody. And they got some fancy pizzas. Normally I'm a casual just cheese and pepperoni guy, but they got pizzas that make me a little.
That doesn't fit your vibe.
Really? Well, really. I mean, if I'm ordering any pizza, I'm like a sausage and onion or a grilled chicken and hot peppers kind of guy.
Pineapple.
I do like pineapple on pizza,
okay,
but the problem is that a lot of times pineapple on pizza is Hawaiian pizza and it's got ham on it. I'm not really ham on my pizza kind of guy. That's what gets me. But they got pizza. They got something for everybody at Mountain Mike's. You can check out their Mesa location. They also got one in Tucson. They have a lunch buffet. I didn't even know about. They got a lunch buffet. Lunch buffets, hot.
Very
That's
hot.
Top tier.
Very hot.
And yeah, just shout out Mountain Mike's for bringing us some food
on
Monday.
Wings are zesty.
It was good. Wings is quite zesty.
You know what else is zesty?
Delicious. What is?
Underdog fantasy, guys.
Very true.
And honestly, just making money in general is a zesty thing to do.
I would agree.
And they make it really, really easy. Underdog
Can you do
fantasy app, guys. It's easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. You guys can get some higher lowers on pick'ems. I know we got a lot of NFL games getting ready here over the next couple of days. We've got football, I believe, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yep. And it's all meaningful football. It is all meaningful football except the Rams and Broncos game, which everybody thought would be meaningful at the start of the season here in week 15, week 16. Yeah. So go make some money. Underdog Fantasy, again, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100.
All right. Anything else before we get out of here? Any fun plans for Christmas?
Fun plans for Christmas. My favorite part about Christmas is the fact that my dad turns into a little child during Christmas. And my dad is a large man. He is the most intimidating looking man in the world. And so for him, for the last probably 5, 6, 7 years has been the guy to wake up and wake us up on Christmas and be like, it's time, wake up. Like, coffee's ready. It's time to open presents. And it is the funniest thing in the world.
That's how I'm going to be with my daughter.
I love that.
I'm a 5 a.m. on Christmas morning type of guy.
No, I am not a morning person unless it's December 25th.
He asked me yesterday. He's like, are you staying over on Christmas Eve? So, like, we can wake up and open presents early? I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh, Grinch. I'm going to be at home. And by home, I mean my apartment with my cat. Going to watch some football, watch some basketball, produce the Cardinals show, check them out, because there's no days off here at PHNX. Being a PHNX, become a diehard. Check us out. Go PHNX.com. Check out some merch at the PHNX locker. You You could buy stuff now. It probably won't be here in time for Christmas. But print a picture out, give it to your loved ones, and be like, I owe you. It's coming. Trust. But yeah, become a diehard.
Trust.
Anything else before we get out of here?
No, thanks for everybody for tuning in, man.
Yeah, appreciate you. Happy belated
see you
birthday,
too.
Mac. We'll see you, in 30 minutes. We'll be right back here on the PHNX YouTube for the PHNX Sun Devil Show. But until then, see ya.